Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
How's everyone?
Great.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there.
Afternoon, everybody.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, that Dave, Bill. Hi, Keith.
Hey, Tom.
Mr. Durr, good afternoon.
William?
Hi, guys.
Hey, Tom.
You have a new look every... Tom Bowser has a new look every time.
I don't know what that is, but I don't know how that's going to work. Mr. Reeser, do you have any information for us today?
I do. And I would
Okay.
also like to make a public comment.
Oh, all right. Well, you're welcome to do that too.
Hi, Pat.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Pat.
Well, this is a pleasant change from 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren in the pool. This is relaxing for me now.
Chris?
I take it you have house guests, Bill.
Yes, the kids and the grandchildren are here, so it's a full house.
Oh. Lucky you.
Oh, yes.
Crown Plaza has a nice pool.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think the bar is as nice.
Well, it's probably more expensive, but
True.
Well, I have 3 o'clock, and let me see. Is everyone here that should be here, Melissa?
I don't see Paul Brass, and I'm not sure about John Woodward.
How
John's
about
here.
Steve? John's here. How about Steve?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Well, then I think we have all 5, except for Paul. We don't have Paul, huh?
Correct.
He didn't send a note that he wasn't coming, though, did he?
No, I had not heard from him.
Yeah, usually he sends a note if he's not going to make it, but well, we can give him another minute or so. Any other visitors?
Hello, Sal Ferrarello and Kate Ferrarello here. We live at 2011 Lincoln Court, and we're item number 3 on the agenda.
Okay, hang on, we'll get to you.
Sure thing.
Saying hi.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, well, I don't know about Paul. I guess we'll call the meeting to order and get started here. And I don't know, do you want to take attendance, Melissa?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. All right, Tom Bowser,
Here.
Paul Brass, Steve Brunner,
Here.
John Woodward,
Here.
and Tom Mull.
Here.
Okay. And we will start with public comments. So, Mr. Reeser, would you like to go first?
Yes, this is Dave. I'd like to make a comment about the Irish Club steps and railing going from Fairview down to Terrace Avenue.
Go ahead.
I am very pleased with the repair and painting of the railings. The parts that are finished look absolutely fabulous. And I hope you'll save and repair the railings on the other side of Trent Avenue instead of replacing them. Really, you should, if you can walk up and look at the top railings, I think are finished now. They look absolutely fabulous. You can't replace something like that. They're absolutely, they're irreplaceable, really. So I'm very pleased with the work that's being done on them. That's all I have.
Well, no, that's a good comment. I had that on my list here. I did walk there the other day, and I went down from Garfield and went back up the other side. I did note that it's still a work in progress.
Yes.
And I did pay, there was a comment, I think, about how many people use that. Well, I passed two couples and one guy who was kind of working out on the steps. He was hopping up and down or something. And
Yes.
I admired his workout ability because I said I couldn't possibly do that anymore. And he was hopping from the bottom on one foot all the way to the top. Anyway, so there are people who do use it.
Well, I do know what Barbara and I, well, when we're at the end of our walks, we always walk up the steps. So, and I am pleasantly surprised at the amount of people that do use the steps.
Right, I know, and I think Jim had commented that he didn't think many used it or something, but I think, I don't know how many, but I know people, it was obvious people do use it though.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, it does look nice. I don't know, what's the schedule for completing that, Pat or Jim, if Jim's there?
There's no real schedule. We kind of use it as a fill-in job, and Matt Hoffman kind of been doing most of it. But I would imagine depending on how much time we devote to it, probably, hopefully the end of this week.
Yeah, well.
Are you planning on doing the other side also, Jim?
Well, it wouldn't be this year. It would be next year, and to salvage those is not just grinding and painting. There need to be some.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
But I think they should try to save them if possible. I really do believe that.
No, I don't disagree with you.
So what, we can't fit that in this year anymore?
Well, we had talked about it as a budget item next year. I mean, but depends on time and manpower. That other side's going to take a long time. There needs to be some welding, some fabricating. There's more of them. They're kind of rotten at the bottom where they go into the brick or the concrete. The ones Dave's place were steady and still solid. A lot of those on the other side they're in a lot worse condition. Let's put it that way.
Well, I hope he can do them this year yet. It would be kind of crazy not to get it all done at once, but I hope they can do that. I agree with Dave. It looks much better. And is it just Matt doing it?
Usually Matt and Jack, or one of them. It's like I say, it's just a fill-in job that we can use as needed. You know, so it's really hit or miss on who's working on it or how many are working on it.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. The other thing I thought that hopefully we get done too is that other kind of whatever you call it, punch out, walk out thing out there on Old Wyomissing Road. The one they did looks really great. I would certainly hope they would complete that and do the other one too.
Which other one are you referring to?
The one down closer to Roos Bridge.
Oh. Yeah, Rob just gave us that kind of thing as the job. I'll have to look at the other one. I wasn't aware that the other one was in repair will have.
It's just, oh yeah, it's just as bad. I mean, it's rotten. It needs something there, yeah. But yeah, take a look at that one too. But yeah, they did a great job on the other one. My God. Okay. All right, Dave?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, you bet. That's a good one. Then we have, let's see, who else for public comment? Anyone else for public comment? All right, then we move on to Michelle and report.
Hello. I said, can I say a few words?
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I didn't see you and I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So thank you. So Adrian Jadik, again, I'm glad to hear that we are also painting railings. We have been asking for the same thing for, if you remember, for our spiral lane railings at top and at the bottom. We brought pictures and we were wondering when can we expect something like that to be done. We, as said before, we're using those steps continuously, and they're still in, I mean, the metal is in very good shape. It's just the coating and dirty and everything is just lack of basic maintenance. So I was wondering, when can we expect that? I think a little bit of effort will go a long way. And also the same area is getting filled with weeds right now. It's getting very hard to access as we have to make our way through a lot of vegetation, which is not neither pleasant nor safe. That's it. I'm hoping to come to a future meeting and offer the same praise as Mr. Reeser just offered this time. Thank you so much.
All right, gotcha. Okay, and moving on here now, Michelle.
Sure. One update from the property maintenance code report regarding the Wyomissing Hill swimming pool. I did speak with Beverly Munting, who, I'm sorry, I think I have her last name wrong. But a woman named Beverly who is on the pool's board, who indicated they do still intend to repair the retaining wall. She gave my contact information to two of the gentlemen that are on the board that are supposed to be spearheading that repair campaign. I have a note on my calendar that if I've not heard from them by this Friday, you know, we're going to move forward with making a decision as to whether or not we want to step in and make the repairs for them. But that's something that this committee and council would need to make a decision on.
Well, if they're working on it, I don't think under the economic conditions, I don't know if we want to fool with that right now or not. If they're making an effort at it, well, wait till you hear from them and see what they say, I guess.
Okay, and then I can give you an update at next month's meeting. Along the lines of property maintenance code complaints in general, up until this point, knowing that we do have some property owners that have been impacted financially by COVID, we have only been issuing enforcement notices for grass, weeds, trash, and rubbish. So the question to the committee is, do you want to resume full enforcement? So, you know, everything from foundation or, you know, retaining wall issues, peeling paint, broken windows, vehicles, you know, everything across the board. Do you want to go back to that, or do you want to for now just continue focusing on trash, rubbish, grass, and weeds?
Well, we don't want everything to go totally bad here, I don't think.
No,
and that could be, I don't know,
just,
that could be just, I don't want to say an excuse, but it could be a reason for not doing something, and maybe should be or could be. I don't know. I would think maybe we should at least start, you know, what should I say, pursuing that again anyway.
well, and we could also take the approach of, instead of starting with a formal violation notice, a lot of times we do try and have a conversation with the property owner first, whether it's leaving a business card in their mailbox and requesting they contact us, or if I have contact information on the utility account, reaching out with a phone call, or if there's an email address, an email, not only to save the borough money of not having to send a certified letter, right from the start, but also to catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So, a lot of times if we have an amicable conversation with the person from the start instead of just going right to a violation notice, they're willing to work with us. And that would be the time, I think, where if there were a financial or other hardship present that was preventing them from, doing what needs to be done, they would indicate such. So that's an option too, is we can make a note of other code violations and try and initiate a conversation before just sending a notice and see what kind of response we get.
That's okay with me. I don't know, anybody else?
I like it.
I think it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Hey, Michelle,
Yes?
our problem property at 1700 Block Reading Boulevard.
I issued her an enforcement notice on June 29th based off of 2 incident reports that were in the police log about tenant landlord issues. Her attorney has also been provided with a copy of that letter. Michelle Mayfield from Chris's office has been in contact with Miss Richards' attorney. So we have made it very clear that as part of the agreement the borough reached with Miss Richards in county court last year, only herself, her husband, her sons, and her mother were to be residing at the property, no tenants.
It's been filled with cars again. And, actually, it doesn't look too bad when cars are parked there. But when the cars are gone, that driveway is really fallen in disrepair again. That maroon car has 4 flat tires sitting there, and there's just trash all over the place again.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Michelle,
Yes.
do you need permits for replacing roofs, or is that considered just like a maintenance thing?
Residential roofs do not require a permit. They're exempt from the Uniform Construction Code. Commercial roofs, you do need a permit to replace them.
Okay, that answers my question for that. And the bike stand repairs, I don't know if this doesn't come under your thing other than the fact that I know you're involved with it. How is that taken care of? I noticed that the one down there in Old Mill for a while was just broken again, and then now it seems to be fixed. How does that happen? Just out of curiosity.
That was donated to us by Oak Brook Brewing, so I was not aware that it was broken unless, our public works guys. Jim, do you know if Rob asked the parks guys to fix that?
Not that I'm aware of.
I can follow up with Rob, but if we didn't fix it, Oak Brook might have stepped in and fixed it.
I was just curious because I know it was broken, and somebody pointed it out to me when I walked by it one time and said, "Hey, how does this get fixed?" And I said, "I don't know." And then I kind of forgot about it, and then I walked by the other day and looked, and it had to do with the pump, the air pump thing. So, and it looked like it was repaired. So I don't know. I was just curious.
Okay, I'll check with Rob and see if he was aware of it. One other item I wanted to bring up and talk to the committee. I've seen an abundance of yard signs, like the little 1 foot by 1 foot signs on metal stakes in the ground throughout the borough. There were a lot of signs that cropped up April through June, everything from heroes work here to, announcing high school or college graduates, messages of general support to the community. And I didn't touch them for, pretty obvious reasons. But at the same time, I also was not touching any of the, 1-800-GOT-JUNK or We Buy Homes. And I can't differentiate when I'm pulling signs, whether it's for a good cause or it's just a contractor trying to advertise their business. So I just want it to be very clear, as I start going out and pulling signs, I have to pull all of them.
Now, even if it's on a personal property, on their property?
If it's on private property and it meets the sign regulations, which is no more than 6 feet, no more than 6 square feet in size in any residential zoning district, it's actually on their private property. In the case of a contractor, it's permitted while the contractor is physically doing work on the property. So, say for the duration that a permit's open. No, I would not touch that. The problem is a lot of these people don't put them on private property. They put them in the planting strip.
Right. Okay, and I certainly, with the graduate thing, I wouldn't mess with them either, but, because I think eventually they'll take them down, obviously, they'll want to save them and everything. But, okay, but now the others, I know, and I saw some more stapled on the telephone poles too, like refinishing floors and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, those I've never touched signs on telephone poles, mainly because they're either bolted in or screwed in that I can't. I know from time to time, Jim's guys have helped me out by going out and physically cutting them off. Outside of that, the ones that are on ground signs, I typically just grab and throw in the back of my vehicle, and that's the end of it.
right? Well, grab what you can always take it back, I guess.
I'll keep them. How's that?
Yeah, that's good. Jeez. All right. Anything else for Michelle there?
What happens to political signs, Michelle? Could you tell us?
I've never touched political signs in my 12 years at the borough. My understanding is it's long been the borough's practice not to touch them, as it falls under freedom of speech.
Thank you. So even if they're in the planting strip, that's okay.
I've never touched them. We also have had good success with almost every candidate I can think of that's ever placed them comes back and pulls them voluntarily within a week or so of the election. If it's 3 weeks after an election and there's still a sign up that I see, I'll grab it.
Absolutely. But now we have an election in November, so I'm okay with keeping signs, right? That's what I was questioning.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. And now we'll move on to 2011 Lincoln. Are you guys there yet?
Yes. Hello, Sal Farrell here with my wife, Kate. Yes.
Okay.
So we've been working with Omega Builders, and when they had some concerns about our swale, specifically some things around standing water, I believe, and I believe we may have Gus from Omega Builders on the call here with us. Gus?
I don't hear him.
Okay, nor do I at the moment.
He sent us a text. He's having some trouble logging in. We were trying to troubleshoot that, but I don't think we have him with us quite yet.
I don't hear him.
We do have one person that's waiting to log in. It's just called user. So I'm not sure if that could be him or not.
Okay. Yes, apparently he is unable to get in.
Okay.
So I guess, would it be appropriate to put this together in writing and submit it to all of you? I have to admit that I'm not familiar with the details.
Well, I don't know. You have like an executive summary of whatever it is, or? Because I guess Jim McCarthy, tell me if I'm wrong here, this is stuff that fell into your lap too.
Yes. So I'll try and just summarize at a high level. I was hoping for a little more info from Gus today as well. It sounds like Kate and Sal have been having some issues during heavier storms, and just so everyone's aware of where they're at. They're over in the Brandywine, Lincoln area, and their rear yard faces the highway where there's the 3-tiered detention basin in there that we discussed last year.
Yeah.
And actually, there was a draft notice of violation that was going to be sent to them, but that was put on hold because of COVID. And then subsequently, Gus reached out on their behalf, not even knowing about this, telling me they wanted to come talk to the borough. I recommended they come to infrastructure, tell us about their problems. And it sounds like, and I guess maybe this kind of stuff, Kate and Sal, you can chime in on. What
Sure.
has it been like 3 times that you've had water significant water damage in the finished basement?
I think a little more than 3. I think we may have had 4, maybe 5, something like that. So we've been in the house since 2006. Since 2006, right? In 2006, there was international news coverage on the flooding that went on at that time, and we didn't see any problems at that time. And since then, we've seen visible changes in sort of the swale and area back there, and we have started seeing water coming in more recently. So certainly that's something that we want to have addressed and that we're working with. Now you mentioned the violation there. I believe I did receive a notice earlier this spring about a violation, if I'm correct, but that's about a sump pump that is currently going into the sewer line.
No, that was just a general notice that went out to everyone on the sewer system.
Oh, okay.
This was actually to do with the pipe where it comes through the berm there at the back of your property and discharge. There was some erosion there, but County decided to put that on hold, being of the COVID situation going on, as well as the fact that you wouldn't have even been able to get a contractor to work on it.
Sure.
So then we further helped. Then when Gus coincidentally reached out, we put that further on hold, figuring let's see what you guys have to say, and how we can move forward there. There's no sense sending you a notice when we're already talking about a problem. So, and I guess from speaking with Gus, it sounded like, Tom, that they maybe were looking for some type of joint solution here that the borough could work together with them on. But I really didn't get any more details other than that with Gus at this point.
Oh, actually, and I believe Gus may be with us now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
All right. Well, Gus, we teed you up to you're on the hot Budweiser hot seat.
There you are.
Okay.
So we were just giving a little background, and Sal and Katie kind of said it's been 4 or 5 times they had basement water damage, and then I was just saying that you were gonna get on this call and talk about. It sounded like to me some type of working together between the borough and yourselves and Kate and Sal. So if you want to pick up from there.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk today. So what I kind of found when I looked around a little bit, they have some water coming up through the floor, like up through the slab itself, and it seems to me that the bottom of the retention pond in the back is actually higher than their basement. Now they do have, and I guess you're all familiar with this, they do have a bunch of other retention ponds uphill from them, which I guess fill up and they spill over or are connected by pipes as well. And they also have a catch basin right out front, the storm sewer basin, right out front between their house and the next door neighbors, with a pipe running from the street all the way back through to the detention pond behind them. I mean, the development is, 30, 40 years old, I guess, I'm not sure. And, the parameters were different then, and we understand that. And it's not, I don't think it's sized properly at this point for the way it should be, collecting all of that water from the entire development coming down through. I understand that that's part of what they bought, and they have to maintain it. We were just looking for a little help, maybe to improve it and get it to where it should be, so that it kind of works better all around. And Sal's aware of the fact that he has to mow it and take care of it that way. I know they knew about it when they bought it, but to ask a homeowner to understand what we're talking about here, I think that's asking a little much. And it's collecting a lot of water. It's not just like one house, 2 houses. It's that whole neighborhood comes down through there.
Okay, well, Jim, I don't know what we have on the review list there, kind of. I mean, does this take like you and somebody else to go out there and take a look, or?
Well, I mean, that would be something that if you wanted us to do, we would have to be authorized to do that.
We've discussed that those detention ponds, I think, or whatever you want to call them, coming down through there before, and they become, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm going to call it overgrown. Is that the right word? I don't know. with growth, that if it wasn't there, would help that work better? Is that a fair evaluation or not, Jim?
I think for the last time I was out there, which was a couple years ago, Michelle Bear and I were out there for it's probably a property 5 or 6 upslope of Kate and Sal's. They put a pool and a retaining wall in and filled part of the pond in. But from what I saw, pretty much everyone maintains the ponds in like a grass lawn condition.
Yeah, it's all cut grass. There's not really any other type of shrubs or anything in the way. So as far as that goes, I mean, that would probably help to slow the water down, which is what it should do. Other than that, they're not really overgrown. The biggest issue that I see is just the size of the pipe down there and kind of the way that it's set up, which creates the issue for the Ferrarellos.
All right, well, I guess we'll have to have Jim review that, I guess, and see what you think. I don't know. Is a change in the pipe size gonna fix that, or?
Without looking at it, I can't really give an answer.
Yeah. No, I know. I can't either. So I guess we certainly have it on our watch list, and I guess we can go out and take a look. Sal and Kate, we can do that.
So would you want me to schedule a time to meet with Gus and Kate and Sal if they're available? Go out and look at it?
I think so. And I think, I don't know, next time you can maybe bring some pictures in too or something there for us to take a peek at. So it's a little hard to figure, or an overhead look or something. I don't know.
Certainly. No, and we
Okay. I thought we had some pictures.
Oh, we do? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, we sent them last month. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I'm not sure. But we can certainly get more and bring them to the next meeting.
Melissa, do you have any pictures you can pop up?
You asking me? Oh, Melissa, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Let me look here.
Did everybody else just put that on too?
what's that, Steve?
I was cut off. I got back on. All right.
Oh,
Hey, Jim, it's John Woodward here. When you set that up, I'd like to come see it if I'm available when you meet.
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't mind either. Put me on the list.
So Tom and John.
Yeah, it's better to see it and know what I'm talking about here.
Kate, can you just bring your freeze stuff and we'll do like a dermatology visit, storm sewer inspection?
Tune up, Jim. I just had you in.
Exactly. I've been wearing my big hat. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. Good job. It means I hurt you less.
Okay, there we go. So is that directly behind your house?
Oh, yeah.
Correct, yes.
So now had you seen that looks like the pond's holding, had it come like back over that, like between those two trees?
It has climbed up. There's a little bit of a hill that you can't appreciate in the photograph, but it goes down, of course. It slopes downward into the swale. It does creep up and what I would call crest its normal banks, yes.
Okay.
There's a municipal fence at the far end, which would be the right side of the photograph if the photo continued, just chain link. And it crests that bank as well, and it's gotten up to that chain link fence. On the other side of the fence is the drainage ditch.
Right, and the big pipe that goes under the rear yards of the houses down the hill from you.
Yeah, there's a pipe there.
Right.
All right, well, that certainly helps, but I'll put me on the list anyway to go out when you go.
All right. I'll pick a day. It's like 105 on the heat index.
That would be awesome.
Is it tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow. But anyway, okay. All right. Okay, well, thank you guys for.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, and let us know, and we'll see you out there.
All right.
So I'll email you and Gus a couple dates that work for everyone else in the next few days, and then we can see what works.
Excellent. Thank
Okay.
you.
That's awesome.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, now we'll jump in with our water guys here. Chris is on there too, I saw, and so is Dave. So if you guys want to give us your usual updates there, go ahead. You're muted, Dave. Dave, hello, you're muted.
Ah, there, you couldn't hear me
Yeah.
before. All
Yeah,
right, that's better.
That's better.
The pipe laying is going very well, and they're projecting September as a finish date. So they are moving along quite nicely. I don't know, Chris, you have any comment?
No, not really. I was out there to see it on Wednesday. It's pretty impressive to see. They're putting down about one section of pipe. It's taking them about an hour, maybe less, depending on how much shale and rock they have to dig through. I have some pictures. I was trying to get them up and ready. If you give me a couple minutes, I can maybe send them over or something so you can see them. But no, it's an impressive sight to see. Otherwise, it seems like it's going well.
Now, can you see this anywhere, publicly, or do you have to like be on somebody's property or something?
So the area's closed off. I mean, if you want to see it, I would say call Chip, call Matt, and they're out there pretty much every day. So they'll be happy to take you out and see it.
Is it near the Stilling Basin there or not?
Yes, it goes from the Stilling Basin pretty much along the creek. And then at one point it shoots up the hill and then continues almost in a straight line up to the plant.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see, really is. Call Chip, he'll take you for a tour.
All right.
Chris, this is Michelle. Just out of curiosity, are they going to restore the trail through there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so as I understand it, when they're done, so they've cleared a pretty wide path, clear all the trees and everything out of it. And they're going to leave it cleared, obviously. And I think the plan for now is to just plant some grass over it and leave it as like an open trail for people to use. Beyond that, I don't know that there are any other plans, but I think the hope is that it's going to be some kind of usable trail.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
That's my understanding also, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Then number 4 there, the project priority bid list and funding. Jim, are you jumping in on that, Bab?
Hey, if we were to pick any capital project to reinstate, it would really be the sewer project. Would involve some cleaning and televising of the Berkshire Heights drainage basin, and then a few repairs. It's not a great quantity from the same work that was done last year. I'm guessing it would come in $150,000, $175,000. The argument that I want to make for doing it is that water pipe goes in the ground and ages over the course of 75 or 100 years. Sewer pipe, not pressurized, and every day there's encroachments of roots, of grease, of grit, and it ages in dog years, if you will, as opposed to a water pipe. I try to get I have like 8 drainage basins, and I try to do one a year. So they're kind of on like a 7 or 8 year rotation. And if we fall behind a year, it just ups the ante of more root intrusion, more grass, more people getting sewage in their basements. And if I were to prioritize one of the capital repairs, it would be that one. And Jim has already done has the bidding document done. We did that before COVID hit.
All right. Well, I guess I need to hear about, I don't know, Steve's here. What about finances, Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed part of that. Did you say what the dollar amount was?
Around the
150 to 175. Okay.
150 to 175.
Well, what I would do is put it on your wish list for the finance committee. And if the finance committee approves it, then let's move forward with it. If this committee seems that we should move it to the finance committee, how does that sound?
Well, yeah, I certainly would. I know we've dropped a lot of other stuff, but I know that's one that Jim always talks about, you know. That's a real infra under the ground structure thing that ought to be maintained for sure. But yeah, move it over to finance. I don't know that we have to.
Have someone make a recommendation to send it to finance. Finance will take it up and we'll go from there.
All right.
I'll make a motion. We move that over to finance for.
All right, that was Tom with a motion. Second?
Second.
From John, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll move it over to you, Steve.
And we meet, I forget when. It's going to be a couple weeks yet, though, right?
Yeah, but we can.
Yeah, it's
we have
not
enough
that
time. Jim Babbitt's okay until next time. Is that okay?
Yeah, Jim, I think it'd be a good idea if you came to that meeting. We'll put you at the top of the agenda if we can.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Okay. Any other comments there, Jim?
Well, I realize the financial concern. So that's the one I want to press for this year. But just a general comment, looking to next year and further out is back when we were doing boulevard reconstruction sections along with our regular work, we were spending $1.5 million a year, give or take, on our streets.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, that's dropped to, I think last year was like $1.1 million. The year before that was like $800,000. And this year, nothing. Roads age too, and I just have a concern that 3-4 years from now, we'll all be in a quandary of too many roads to pave. So I just want to express my concern that moving forward, that we continue to finance the street work as we used to.
Yeah, no, I've seen them. I can see some, even one ways are starting to get bad.
I have your road on our 5-year plan, Tom.
No, I know. But I mean, I just see a lot of them are. Converse them.
Our field is bad too.
Go. Yeah.
Well, let's face it, this is an odd year financially. So once we get a better grasp, we're getting it every month, we get a better grasp on what's going on. We'll have a better idea with the finance committee. But I mean, we had no option but to shut everything down and hoping to restart, if we could, some select things. So you obviously have your list of wishful or hopeful thinking, and we'll do it. We'll take it up with the finance committee and see where we stand.
All right.
Tom, just something. It got in too late because of the last Borough Council meeting, but we keep trying to do projections as to where we think we're going to end up with a shortfall in revenue versus what cuts were made. And the longer, at least for now, the range of projections are that we cut out about an equal amount of what we think is going to be the loss in revenue. So we're still going to end up in a deficit, even though we cut out all those projects.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. Yikes. Okay, and we don't know what next year will bring, so. Okay, all right, so pass the sewer thing all along there and see what you got, Steve. We'll see what you guys find.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. All right, water system there, Jim. Jim and Jim, I guess.
Yeah, I have nothing to add from a local basis. I know we had sent those letters out for the rate increase to Schwank and whoever else. I'm not sure who they all went to. Jim can speak more to the State Hill and Vista issue.
All right.
Yeah, that was just Chris determined that we need a financial surety agreement. And I guess there's some emails flying around that day, so I guess PAWC will know that shortly. It's really all on that.
Okay.
And the last thing would be the YR Club's request to waive the late fee for the first quarter.
I have that information, Jim.
To waive what?
We have we received a request from the YR Club on June 29th requesting to waive a late fee, $271.83, which was unable to be paid during the pandemic. They have brought the account up to the only balance being the $271.83, and they've requested a waiver for that. I brought it to the committee's attention because normally the borough manager could give one waiver. However, researching it through the water department showed that we granted a waiver in 2014, and we granted a waiver for late fees in August 25th, 2017. So I just wanted to bring this to the committee's attention and see what your decision is. The current balance they're requesting waived is $271.83.
What are they out of money? Is that the deal?
Jenksy, tell them to pay the bill.
Well, I'm assuming
What
they
was
were COVID. Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's due to the COVID situation. They haven't been able to be open.
That is correct. They just opened up last week. But yeah, ever since this hit, they've been shut down. So, and they did have a piece of equipment that malfunctioned, creating excessive water usage.
Well, what do we normally do when if someone goes away and their hose breaks and they leave the thing on? We haven't given any personal people any breaks, so I don't know how we give them one.
I don't think they're asking for that. They're just asking for the late fee, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, they've paid the actual water usage balance.
My fault. Sorry.
Well, we can postpone the penalty till they get the money back, I guess. I don't know.
I think they paid the bill, didn't they, Pat?
They paid the bill except for the $271.83.
What do we do with other people that have penalties like that? Do we waive them? We haven't.
That's the problem.
Isn't that pretty much of a dangerous precedent to set? I mean,
Yeah.
you got all kinds of other businesses that face COVID as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I wouldn't say. I'd just say they wouldn't have to pay it right away. We could wait to get the penalty payment later. You know?
Give it to the end of September to pay it, end of the third quarter.
That's fair. And then they might
Okay,
be
give them to
open.
the end. Is that the committee's direction, into September to pay?
It's okay by me. I got to hear from
And me.
others.
Yeah,
And me.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
Tom. Yep. Tom, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. We don't give anybody else a break with it. We shouldn't give them one either.
No. End of September, Pat.
Yes, sir. In regards to the Public Utilities Commission and Pennsylvania American Water regarding that letter we sent, I did receive a email back from Melanie Horvath, who's the Director of Legislative and Regulatory Affairs, requesting to discuss the letter that was sent on June 10th, which would also involve the offer to purchase the water system from Pennsylvania American Water. I didn't feel comfortable making that phone call. I did call her and say I would bring it up today. But as far as making a phone call and having a discussion with him regarding this, what I'd like to do is call her back, get an agenda of what they would want to speak about, and then set up a Zoom call with the committee.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they saying that they're going to make a price or something, or what?
No, she did not. She just said they would requested a meeting to discuss, and that was the extent of the conversation.
Pat, that would have to be a public meeting if we have the whole committee on it. So I think we ought to find out what the agenda is first, and then we could discuss whether it would have to be a public meeting or not based on the topic, and
Okay.
then we can see if the whole committee could be involved or not.
Tom, do you want me to call them back, get an agenda, and go from there?
Sure.
We'll take care of it.
Okay. One other thing with the water system. This is for Jim Babb. That the red, the old hydrant, now just a pipe thing down at the stone house. Does that work now or not?
Yes, it's been working for a long time.
Okay, I just wanted to check. I know we talked about it, but I didn't get any. I wasn't sure what the answer was there. Okay, so it is working. Gotcha. Okay, that was the only other thing there. Anybody else? Water? Sewers?
Jim and I got together, was it last week, just for some preliminary budget discussions for capital stuff, for infrastructure. And one thing, and I'm just keeping it on the agenda, one thing that I'm going to ask for in the 2021 budget is some engineering money to refurbish that Berkshire Boulevard pumping station, which I mentioned, I think, the last meeting or two. So there's no action needed or anything. I just wanted to keep it on the agenda. That item B is what we discussed as item 4, so we don't need to discuss that either.
Okay. And then streets.
Fourth Street, it sounds like from some emails that have been flying around today that we almost have the deed of dedications signed and in our hand for the 4th Street right away. We coincidentally also had a call with PennDOT this morning. Jim, myself, and Michelle and Greg Richardson were on. They are going to be, over the next 12 months, redoing Park Road from 422 to North Wyomissing Boulevard. So that was actually part of the scope of the work of the Barwis contract. So we're going to actually not have to spend the money to do the overlay and line striping on Park Road, because PennDOT's going to incorporate that into their project. So
perfect.
So it looks like we'll save some money or have some excess contingency funds should we hit something unknown in that hill at Greenwich, bringing the road through there. And then, I guess somewhat related but unrelated, because we actually applied for the grant for 4th Street, but Michelle sent the email out with that wonderful news last week that we got, I think it was $633,000 with us, that's half the match, with $190,000. And Michelle has spoken with Jenny Granger about substituting some other projects since we don't need that money for 4th Street now. So that, there'll be more to come on that. We can't really do any of that work till those grant documents are executed. You can't incur any costs in advance. So
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So once we get the executed deeds of dedication for 4th Street right away, we'll give Barwis notice to proceed and schedule a pre-construction meeting with them. And hopefully they'll get, we'll get them started in August.
Okay. How does, I was reading the stuff that everybody that you sent out, but I wasn't quite sure how the bridge at the YR Club fit in with that. Being able to use it for that. I thought it had to be something close by the, oh, there's Chris's pictures. I thought it had to be something close to that location. Is that right, Michelle?
So the parkland trails are all part of the bike ped route. The bicycle and pedestrian route completely encircles the Stonehouse property. It follows Parkside Drive north and south. So since that bridge is directly off of Parkside Drive, Jenny was willing to let us tie it in.
Okay, nice. How about any storm drain fixes there along the trail, so people don't have to ride through 2 foot of water on Old Mill Road there.
Well, I guess what Michelle, Jenny's exact words were, we'll be liberal and we'll be
We'll work
liberal.
with you.
Yeah, well, they'll work with us on, basically it has to be something that's along the bicycle ped route or directly tied to 4th Street. So because the bicycle ped route's all throughout the borough, it kind of gives us a lot of latitude.
So to follow up to that, Colleen and Kathy are going to, sometime this week or very early next week, we're going to get on the phone with Jim and Jenny's point person for this to discuss what we were thinking in terms of, the stormwater management improvements and get specific feedback from them that we can bring back to the committee for input.
Okay.
Hey, Michelle.
I keep that one on the list. You know where I mean down there on Old Mill? Near the bike fix-up station there.
Yes, like near the pool on that side.
It's actually
Well,
at the
no.
intersection of Old Mill and Parkside Drive. It's on as you're going towards Museum Road, it's on the right-hand side. Basically, the water encroaches halfway across the roadway whenever we end up rain.
Okay.
Any kind of heavy rain, there's like one drain there. I was wondering if we could just improve the ability to add that water to the big pipe as it goes towards the creek. Then I don't know. That's just, it always caused a big problem there. I know that. Okay.
Michelle.
Yes.
It's Steve. Is the quote unquote sidewalk / widening of Cambridge Avenue for the bike path part of that? Could that be part of that $633,000?
It could be if we wanted to.
Okay.
There's going to be 6 or 7 projects looked at, and everybody's going to have a different opinion.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying I'm just trying to get an idea of what would be, if that's something that would be eligible.
We have on the list that I have that there's some stormwater improvements, that cause property damage.
Let's get rid of those first. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were thinking, trying to get the Fountain Park area in there, and then also potentially getting our MS4 portion of our MS4 work in the Topahagan Creek watershed in there. Because if you remember, I think we earmarked $400,000 for the Topahagan Creek watershed and $400,000 for the Wyomissing Creek, and we're about halfway. We're halfway through that 5-year period, and we haven't done any of that work yet.
Okay.
If we could go back to that Park Road before we leave streets also. We just found out recently that PennDOT was going to pave Park Road. I haven't looked yet to see if there would be any curb replacement or not. And I didn't know how the committee felt about it would be short notice for abutting properties, but should we treat this like any of our paving projects and make abutters to Park Road replace their curb as part of this PennDOT project?
Well, did we do that on Penn Avenue?
We did. The only the one issue is we don't control the tempo of the project at all.
Right.
From what we gather from today's meeting, they do some curb ramps and some concrete work this fall and do the actual milling and paving sometime next spring. So people would have very short notice to get the work done.
Well, who knows too? Sometimes they change their schedule, shall we say?
I guess
this actually is awarded. We were on the pre-con meeting. The Al Myers is doing the work, and they have till August 2021 to complete the project.
Now, this is Park Road, and what about North Wyomissing Boulevard? No, that's not part of it?
No.
Okay.
I'll go out and mark curb and get quantities for our next meeting, and we'll take it from there.
All right, that's fair enough. Okay,
I think to be consistent with past practice, you need to do it here as well.
yeah, I do too, I agree. Okay, anything else for that? The telecom, is that street
Yeah.
cut permits?
Yeah, we need to discuss one of those. Is that, Melissa, do you have that map?
You do, yeah, give me a second here.
While she's getting that, on the long lines, did they get to those yet or not? On the roads?
I missed that. Well,
The long
Tom Indy
lines
just,
that are painting.
Tom Indy just got back today. Tom, I have a meeting scheduled with him in the morning and I'll get you an answer.
Okay, that's okay. I didn't see any painted, that's why I'm wondering, okay.
yeah, that's the one. That's the main one. I got 2 requests for street cut permits recently. This is the one that needs discussion, really. This is a engineering and construction company looking to install some sort of fiber line. I'm not clear exactly what it's for, but they're working for AT&T, and they must have some sort of terminus or junction there at Tewksbury right now, and they want to run that line out to another terminal at State Hill Road. Some of it's boring, some of it's open cut, which is all fine and dandy, but my concern is there's 2 blocks of Wellington between Parliament and Warwick we just paved. That's a darn nice road.
Yeah.
Our ordinance says they would have to pay a $500 fee, which is nothing for something like this. My gut reaction is if that 2-block section of Wellington, if they could bore that and just put in one hole, it wouldn't be the end of the one cut. It wouldn't be the end of the world. But if they need to open cut that, I don't know what else we could extract from them legally. Say, hey, you know, you can do that, but you have to repave Parliament or extract some sort of improvement from them. But I don't know, Chris, if you would get a chance to read our ordinance to see if we could extract something from them if they did that.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll look at it.
they should have to do a minimum of full width mill and overlay because it's been put down within 5 years. It may be more cost effective for them to just go down Tewksbury and go down Warwick if we tell them they're going to have to do a full width mill and overlay on Wellington because we just rebuilt the road.
Didn't we have an issue with this, with somebody wanting to put a gas line in right after that road was paved?
Yeah, we told them they had to do a full width mill and overlay.
Yeah, that kind of went away. I don't know if we found out the gas was on their side of the road already, or the guy ended up not doing it. But that could have been an issue, but it kind of went away.
Well, if that's what the ordinance says, and Jim McCarthy, you're familiar with that, I would say to Jim Babb, that's the answer. Tell them they have to either do the full width mill and overlay, or they should move their project.
Because I mean, they're going in our right of way by our permission, so we can tell them whatever we want.
Right.
Well, that's what we tell them. We're not going to mess that up. That looks really nice over there.
Looks great.
Well, and my concern really with them going in there is, you know, we did that full depth reclamation, which makes that base where we did it as hard as concrete. And then when you cut one, they're going to have a heck of a time getting through that. And 2, we're now going to have a trench that has a different sub base than the rest of the road has. So I am not that excited about anybody cutting through that regardless of what they do for restoration.
I agree. We need Jim Babb, do we need some kind of an answer there, or is that what you want to tell him, or tell him that?
Well, let me look at the ordinance just to confirm what Jim McCarthy said, but I believe Jim is correct on that. And, you know, subject to my confirmation, I'll give direction to Jim Babb to let him know what the requirements are.
Okay. All right, green light go. That's
dead.
closed. Do we need to keep that on there?
Nope, that was just the last, just last notice. This will be the last meeting. We'll see green light go. It doesn't sound like they're going to be funding that program moving forward.
Okay. The hydrant deal there, have we got any further with that?
Yes, so Michelle Mayfield from Chris's office was able to talk to Doug Mishaw, who was the objector that came to the March council meeting. Doug's objection on behalf of the Builders Association was not regarding the standpipe or sprinkler language in general. It was regarding other types of structures, such as like pole buildings, things that are typically exempt from the Uniform Construction Code requirements. So after having that conversation with Glenn Kraft and Joe Bollinger from Kraft Codes, she went back to Doug and he agreed he will not object to the adoption of the ordinance if we remove that objectable section, which, by the way, those temporary structures are covered elsewhere in the building and the fire code, so we still have the right to regulate them. It was just in regards to the actual standpipe sprinkler issue he was taking objection. So based off that, Michelle's going to revise the language in our draft ordinance. We would need to re-advertise it, and then we could adopt it.
Okay.
So I'd recommend that the committee indicate that it accepts the adjustment that Michelle just described, and that the committee recommends to council that we re-advertise the public hearing and consideration of enactment of that ordinance with that change.
All right, so we need a motion for that from the committee here.
So moved.
Second.
Sound like Tom and Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, you got it, Michelle?
Yep.
Okay. Public Works Facility, estimate completed.
And just an update to the committee, I am working RACP, which is one of the grant programs we had talked about applying for funding for this project. RACP is currently open. I've been working with Colleen to get the information together to submit our application for that.
Great.
So we'll wait to hear. What was the estimate anyway?
Oh, you're stretching my memory.
Oh, I don't know. Just
I think it was 3.4 million, something like that.
Ooh.
And we would have a 50% match, so keep that in mind. But we do have, again, multiple years. We do have multiple years to complete the project.
Good news. It's only 1.7 million for us. Perfect.
Yes, yes.
That's
there you go. All right.
cheap at twice the price.
Yeah. All right, the traffic study for Cleveland and Lake, or Cleveland Avenue to Lake Avenue, I guess. Anything's going on there?
Anything about that?
No.
Me either.
That doesn't help.
Tom,
Yeah,
if you recall, we were just, that was brought up at Fire and Police, and we just moved it over for the first time to infrastructure.
The issue is, Bill we discussed briefly, I guess, at Fire and Police, there was some issues with traffic moving rapidly from the Dolphin Avenue extension along Cleveland, clear up to Lake Avenue before they, with all the bumps and street things that there are there, straight through. So I guess that's where we're at. Do we need to do anything with that?
I mean, if you want to advance that, you have to do a traffic study and a stop sign warrant analysis to be able to place a legal stop sign. And then after that, Chris would have to draft an ordinance adopting that sign if the warrants are met. But I caution you on this, stop signs are not speed control devices. So if our only issue is speeding, you're probably not going to meet the warrants. You're going to need, the warrants have to do with sight distance at the intersection and reportable accidents. So if we don't really have the two of them and we're trying to control speed, we're probably going to waste money doing the study because it's not going to show warrants for a stop sign being needed.
And we just
Some
that's
issue
absolutely,
had to do,
that's
some issues
absolutely
had to do with the bumps in the road there too.
well, we've had that problem. Cleveland Avenue has been a cut through from West Wyomissing for the last 50 years. And that's not going to change. And throwing up stop signs is something I'm dead set against because, first of all, it says so right in the PennDOT manual. You can't use them for speed control devices. And that's just trading one problem for another. So
Can't we put up the police sign that says to slow down like we're using on a boulevard today?
well,
I mean, once in a while.
you could do that once in a while, Steve. For all the good it does, the worst time of the day is people going to work in the morning.
Yeah. Hey, it slowed me down from 31 to 25 today.
Did it really?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a speeding cut through issue, then and Jim's going to shoot me when I say this. There's all the traffic calming things like the speed humps and all that kind of stuff, narrowing down the cross section with curb islands, and but you put those speed humps in, they're a nightmare to plow. When you're plowing roads, you don't really have to hit a speed bump. That's not going to be the end of a good night of plowing. But if that's the thing, we may look at some traffic calming things, whether they're, again, rumble strips or bumps or narrowing the cross section with some curved islands in areas. That's probably more appropriate to try and control the speeding than the stop signs, if that's the real concern.
Well,
From
Cleveland
Evans,
and, go ahead, Jim.
Evans to the Boulevard is I can't believe I've never seen it, that people speed there just because the road is narrow and there's parking on both sides. I could understand the first block after you come off an avenue extension, but you know what I mean? Just the fact that it's narrow and there's cars parked on both sides, I can't believe that there's a lot of speeding going on there. That would baffle me. I've never witnessed it.
Well, can we get the police department to do a traffic count? Let's get a traffic count on the street on Cleveland, and let's try to get an average speed. If Pat gets together with Tom Endy when he gets back tomorrow, see what we can find out.
I'll take care of that first thing in the morning.
An average.
How about accidents?
And then once we have that information, we might want to, we might want to look in a little bit further into what Jim McCarthy's talking about, with other options that we may have to do something with it, except turning all the streets around again like we did years ago.
How about accidents too?
Yeah, an accident. How many accidents? But I understand. I think what we're seeing too is there's a lot of younger families moving into the center section of the borough, the old section, and with small children out on the sidewalks and parking the way it is there, we've got a lot more cars. And they're afraid, and I'm sure some of these parents are afraid of their children getting hurt, hit with a car, going out in to chase a ball or something in the street, or a dog. And I think that's what's driving some of this.
Okay. All right. See what you come up with there, Pat.
Yes, sir.
And tell them to
Okay.
turn off the speed indicator when they're doing the traffic study, because that messes, people see it and they drive artificially slow.
Yeah.
Plus,
Okay.
plus we had one in Kenhurst that the kids were riding to see how fast they could go on their bikes, and it totally messed up our traffic study.
Okay.
All right. 12, storm damage, or Brandywine.
So we finally received our 600 pages of FEMA data a week ago. Needless to say, we have not looked at all of that yet. So we'll be in a position to discuss that at next month's meeting, as far as that pipe and whether it passes it and what was done in the past.
God, 600 pages.
Yep.
Oh my God. All right. So next month, right?
Yep. Next month we should have that done and a probably a final draft of that report for everyone to look at.
Okay.
Because that was the last piece of information we were waiting for.
Yep. And Jim, those other pipes are going to be put in sometime this summer, no matter what, though.
Yeah, I just ordered the boxes late last week, so I'm guessing sometime probably late August would be my guess.
Okay. Old Mill Road parking lot there.
Tom, I was going to meet with the school board to rekindle those discussions. However, they are
Yep.
knee deep in school reopening right now. So those meetings have not
Okay.
occurred. I will continue to try to do that.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a rush for that one, I don't think, but okay, that's fine. The Verizon thing there, Chris, is that for you?
Michelle, are you gonna jump on that?
Yeah, so Chris and I have been going back and forth with the representative from Verizon on the draft agreement language. One of the things Chris is suggesting, and I agree with, is that we lock in and adopt some type of aesthetic regulations before the agreement is executed, because otherwise we lose the right for 30 years if we agree to a 30-year lease to, at any point in the future, regulate what this facility looks like. So I've done a couple of online searches, found some language from different communities across the country, and I'm going to start looking through that to, draft something with Chris that we can put together to bring back to the committee. While I'm doing that, just is there anything the committee wants me to focus on? Like, do you want it to be required to blend into the surrounding area? Do you want it to be painted a certain color? Do you want, height restrictions on it? Do you want it to be shielded or, in some way have some type of barrier around it that it's not visible?
Or don't everybody answer at once?
Yeah.
Well, the difficulty is we only get one shot at this. If we go forward with this master lease agreement with Verizon that they are seeking, the time will have passed for us to put these standards in place. So we really do need to jump on this if it's a concern to the borough. And the examples that Michelle shared with me don't seem unreasonable, but they do put some boundaries, some limits on what these small wireless equipment installations have to look like.
So not this company, not Verizon, but I have been contacted by AT&T. They're interested, though they have yet to send me a draft lease agreement, on putting a small wireless communication facility on the fire department building. So, I mean, there's a prime example of, if we have this, 3-foot antenna sticking off the top of the fire station, what would you want that to look like?
Dalmatian.
I don't know. You wouldn't be able to. Most people probably wouldn't even notice it.
No, I mean, there's one requirement, I can't remember if it was Baltimore or Elk Grove, where if the wireless communication facility was going to be visible from someone's window, it couldn't block or take up more than a certain percentage of their view. I mean, that's getting very nitpicky, but it's also, you know, maintaining as much as possible the aesthetic and character of the residential neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Well, isn't there like on the fire company, isn't there a wall on the facade of it that is higher than the roof anyway? Am I wrong with that? When you're standing on the roof, is there a brick wall in front of you and looking at Penn Avenue?
I've never stood on
Yeah, probably 3 feet high, thigh high.
So a 3-foot antenna wouldn't be so bad.
there, no, but I mean, that's just, I mean,
Right.
keep in mind, you know, there's other borough-owned utility poles or street poles that they want to put these antenna on.
I'll bet most people won't even see it.
That's the hope. But I
I
still
know,
think
but I
we
mean-
should, I still think we should have some basic aesthetic requirements.
Michelle, question. What's the equipment that attaches to this antenna? I mean, how big of a footprint does that make?
The equipment itself is smaller than the antenna. Typically, the antenna is, you know, 3 feet tall by max 1 to 2 feet wide. And then there's a little box that all of the electrical components and other equipment go in that can either be mounted, you know, elsewhere on the pole, or almost, I can't think of the appropriate term for it, but I'm thinking of like a zip tie, like secured to the base of the pole by something much stronger than a zip tie that no one could get in and tamper with it.
Is this similar to what I saw on that little traffic island at Wyomissing and Penn Avenue?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, without seeing like options of what it looks like, I don't even know what to say there.
Well, how about Chris and I can start putting together some draft regulations based off of what we think is reasonable. And then for next month's meeting, I don't know that we'll have a final draft ready for you, but we can also, like, I can get you some pictures of what they actually look like. And then that may trigger you to say, oh, we want to do this.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Michelle, do they
Yeah,
pay
go
an
ahead.
annual? Do they pay an annual fee or a one-time fee?
Both.
There's a bunch of fees that they have to pay. There's annual right-of-way compensation. There's a one-time permit fee. There's whatever would be called out in the terms of our lease agreement. But I mean, this is by no means a big revenue source for us. I'm going to say between the one-time permit fee, the annual right-of-way fee, and the lease agreement, we're maybe looking at a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, the feds have set some limits on what are reasonable fees in 2019, 2020. One of the things that I've been trying to negotiate with Verizon is to have some escalation on those because they want a 30-year agreement. And I think what's reasonable in 2020 will become of diminishing reasonableness as time passes. But they haven't yet accepted the escalation concept. But that's another negotiation point that we've been pressing with them.
Since their rates keep going up, can we negotiate free Wi-Fi and free usage of some sort?
Sure, we'll throw that in there.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So bring us back a couple of pictures and a little plan next time if you can.
Okay, not a problem.
All right. The Woodland Road signal, what's with that one? Who's doing that? Is that something that they're ready to go change? I know that had to be up to date or brought up to date or something there.
TPD's gotten a couple submissions from Boja Engineering, who's doing that on behalf of the school district. I know, hold on one second for me. I know their last review letter came through not that long ago.
Are they hoping to have that in before the school year starts, or?
That I don't know because we haven't even signed the resolution for this one.
Okay.
So my last note on it is,
Boja resubmitted plans to TPD on July 13th,
yeah,
and I haven't seen a review letter since that submission.
yeah, the last one before that was from like June. So it's in our court in terms of our traffic engineers reviewing it.
So what, progress we'll call it?
Sure.
Okay. All right. The bridge replacement, I think, do we need to go ahead with something there, Jim McCarthy?
I don't think so now, in light of it's bundled up in. We're going to bundle it up into that PennDOT-MTF grant. So I think we should just table that for the present time.
Okay. And then the library, I don't know. Who's on top of that, Jim or Tom or what?
It just keeps riding on the agenda if we want to do anything with that. I don't know. With the financial situation we're in, we could almost, I guess, remove that if you'd like. I do have concern, there's concerns with the roof and there's concern with the heating in the fall.
Well, you were going to try to make some temporary repairs there for the heating thing, right?
Yeah, we do need to do something with that heating system for the winter time. We need to do some temporary repairs for that until such time as we can decide how we're going to finance some of this stuff that we've got to do over there.
I know. Is the roof leaking? I hope not.
I haven't heard anything from Colleen recently, no.
As to the roof, we still need to have some kind of resolution with the original contractor. And where I thought that was at was that the borough would make a determination about what the materials would be for the final replacement roof. And then we would get a cost estimate for that. And then I would go to the old contractor and talk about what contribution that old contractor should be responsible for. So all of that is on hold until the borough moves forward with, making some decisions about that roof.
Chris, we have the information on what, if we decide to go with the asphalt shingle. Well, we have it both ways. I can tell you how much a new roof is going to cost. I have that information.
Well, has a decision been made then by the borough as to, using that asphalt shingle as the replacement roof?
No.
I can tell you, I think we were leaning toward that. The cost of the slate thing was going to be astronomical.
One vote says asphalt sounds good.
So I know they have a thing, I think we went through this, that they have some stuff that looks very much like shingle. I mean, like slate. And we're just kidding ourselves with that, I think.
They do have some very nice selections in architectural shingle. 50 years, it does look remarkably like slate, but is about half the cost.
Well, I think there's a risk in waiting too long to go back to the old contractor and make some kind of a.
Then let's do it. Let's go back to them.
So.
Just one person's vote. I think we need to go back to them. This whole problem is going back to the hailstorm in, what, 6 years ago now?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, too long ago. Well, let's move on it then.
But do you want to see, I mean, is there some information that the committee wants in order to make a recommendation on what that replacement roof should look like? Or could we have a confirming motion or something, just so I can point to some decision in order to, you know, press the point with the old contractor?
Yeah, Tom, what's that stuff look like? Is there a name for that type of shingle or not?
Well, it's
I have samples of what was proposed up here in my office. Now, how everybody gets the chance to look at it, I don't know, but I do have samples.
It is an architectural grade shingle. And you're gonna have to look at it and make your own decision on what it looks like. It's kind of hard to describe what a shingle looks like.
I'd say we move forward with the shingle that looks like slate.
Yeah, whatever that one is.
Yeah.
Tom, you can look at it. You know it better than us, any of us maybe, except
Yeah.
him.
It wouldn't. Yeah, it's
We can call it the Tom Mole roof, the Mole family roof.
No, I have slate. the real thing. But it's something that you know, we have to move forward with. But it's going to change the look of the building. That I can tell you. It's not going to look the same architecturally. It'll be okay, but it's not gonna. You're gonna have some people who are not going to be happy with it.
Well, they can chip in the rest to pay for it if they want.
Amen. Yeah. Well, we had talked about that. Somebody was trying to do a fundraiser and, you know, for some of that stuff, but that didn't go too far.
No, there's not enough horse races to take care of all that. No.
Yeah.
Plow forward, and if someone says they want to pay for a slate roof, then they can pay the difference.
Yeah.
That's
That's the truth.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what do we got to do there, Chris? What do you want?
Well, I would like a motion to recommend to council that the roof, the replacement, the library building roof be replaced with an asphalt shingle that, and I don't know what Tom Mole described it as, something that is
Best
an
replicate slate roof.
yeah, an architectural quality shingle that resembles a slate roof, something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Sounds like the motion, Tom. Is that right?
That's right.
I'll second it.
Steve seconds it, and Melissa, do you have that as a motion?
I do, yes.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right.
Go.
And Jim Babb, can you share with me the information you have on that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jim, do you have the prices on those boiler repairs?
Yeah, maybe I'll if you'd like, I could send out one email that has the cost shingle library roof, the temporary, if you want to call it temporary upgrade to the heating system, and I'll try to snap some pictures of the shingle samples that I have.
Perfect.
Just send that out
Okay.
as one email to everybody.
That's good.
Gotcha.
That works.
Okay. All right. Anything else? No, I just had one, Jim. I wanted to ask you about that pond draining repair with the pipe and everything. Is that moving forward or what?
Yeah, we have all the materials. I just got to round up enough guys. We've had a lot of guys on vacation. We have a COVID quarantine. Not that we had anybody with COVID, but they traveled out of state and they're under COVID. So I just got to rustle up enough guys. But hopefully next week or so we will do that.
Okay. All right. Anything else anybody has?
Yeah, it's John here. You know,
Yep.
Bill's pet peeve is the Berkshire Mall. Mine is graffiti. And I think it's ridiculous that we have to wait for Norfolk Southern or the county to make that go away. That should go away the next day. And Pat had concerns about the safety of the borough crew doing it. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I think, you know, and some of the stuff they write on there is really nasty. And I don't know. I think we ought to make an effort to find a way for us to make it go away ASAP.
This is Michelle. To tie into what John's saying, Tom Endy notified me today because I had emailed him last week about graffiti on the underpass on Crossing Drive. The county's graffiti team, for lack of a better description, effective, hold on, I'm trying to find his email, effective as of the beginning of July. Oh, what does this say? Hold on. The coordinator retired on July 3rd. There are no current plans for replacement of the county crew at this point, but possibly on July 29th, when the furloughed probation crew returns, they might be able to handle. So as of now, nobody from the county is doing any graffiti abatement.
That's unacceptable.
Somebody just removed the graffiti off of Old Man Echo that was there. I don't know who did it. We didn't do it.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think that was the county, I think.
Yes, that was the county crew.
So maybe
Well,
the probation crew kicked in earlier than they thought.
Well, then we got to do it ourselves. I agree with John. We can't let that hang around.
No, I agree.
But
Can it be safely accessed?
I don't know, where is it exactly on Penn Avenue there?
I don't even know where which graffiti. I don't know. I need to know exactly where this graffiti's at because I don't know. And it would probably have to be the tree department, and they're basically a two-man crew. And there's a day or two of, oh God.
John, where is it? Have you seen it, John?
I haven't seen it, but it's when you're going out the bypass past, heading north on, past the North Wyomissing Boulevard exit. There's an underpass there, and it's right on there, and it says "fuck the police."
And it's on the West Shore bypass?
It's my understanding. Hear that.
If it's on the West Shore bypass, no, we will not venture out there at those. We can't. That would be side.
John, I'll check with the company, but I'm pretty sure that was removed.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, Pat.
I'll check on that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I got.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, then meeting adjourned, and thank you for assisting there.
Okay.
All right.
See you later.
Yep.